Happy New Year. I hope you enjoy your New Year's Eve and your New Year's Day and that you are getting into the swing of 2025. There's something that I've wanted to share for a little bit, or at least part of me has wanted to share and part of me wants to keep very, very private. But if you know me, you know that I am as authentic as I possibly can be, and when I find something, whether it's very positive or and that will enhance our lives or something that we should avoid, to make our lives healthier and better, I want to share that information with everybody so that you all can learn too. So I'm going to share something with you that's really personal, but I want you to understand what's going on and what's been going on with me for the last 30 days in case you know somebody else is going through something similar and you can share this with them. So about 30 or so days ago, I'm going to try and make a very long story very short. I was getting into the shower on a Friday evening, getting ready to go to our usual sushi, me and Rick, and bent down to pick up something, I think it was a razor, off the floor. And when I stood up, my stomach had distended in the shape of like a football, literally like if I had just swallowed a football. And it went from here to here, and it was very painful, and we couldn't figure out why. While the pain level dissipated, the swelling, we'll call it, or distension and shape did not. So by Wednesday, I called my doctor and we started doing some tests. I did a UTI test just to make sure and rule that out. We did an ultrasound. And then what that led to was a whole bunch of other tests. So over the last 30 days, if there's a test out there, I've had it. Blood work, biopsies, colonoscopies, MRI, CT scans, copper dotate scans, you name it, I've had it. I've had it between here and at the University of Miami. And what we've come to the conclusion is that I have a very rare genetic disease called von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. And it is now known as VHL. This is the same disease my father passed of more than 30 years ago. And back then there was really no science and no research behind it, and really no families in the United States that have this disease. And no, none of my family has been genetically tested. That is a question I get, but none of us have really had any symptomology. There's never been anything that has come up. And if I didn't know my body so well and knew that this was an unusual situation, I never would have gone to the doctor. Had my stomach not distended, or if the bloaty, weird feeling had gone away, I never would have gone to the doctor, and I still wouldn't have this information. So thankfully, the universe sent me a very large message that I was unable to ignore, and it led me on this journey now versus years ago, because years ago this information wouldn't have been available. So with all of these tests, what does this mean and what is the disease? So to keep it very, very simple, and I will include some links for those of you that are interested in learning more, VHL causes a reaction in the body and overstimulation and produces cysts, which all of us have in our body somewhere, but these cysts grow on your organs, and they're quite large. So if you think of a very large mushroom or a barnacle on the bottom of a whale or the bottom of a boat or something like that, there's a lot of them that are there, and they can kind of crust over. In addition to the cysts, this disease can also cause tumors. Some of them are benign and some of them are malignant. And the tumors can get quite large, and even if they're not cancerous, they can cause some damage. So what does this mean for me? Well, I have what they call an endocrine pancreatic tumor, which is different than pancreatic cancer, in my pancreas that is quite large and attaching into my spleen. I also have renal cell carcinoma, which is a kidney cancer on my right kidney. And so what now? Well, after talking to my surgeons, I will be having surgery at the University of Miami February 6th to remove those two tumors. There's also a spot we're checking out on my lung that we're getting more tests on to kind of figure out how big it is and what my options are, because right now there's quite a few, whether they do a shot of radiation, whether they remove it, whether they watch it. We're just kind of paying attention to what next there. Very fortunately, I'm so very fortunate that these particular cancers, from what the surgeons are saying right now, it seems like they can remove both of them by by going through my abdomen and going to the left side to get to the pancreas and the spleen, and then the right side to get to the kidney. And that post-surgery, if all goes according to plan, I will not need chemotherapy or immunotherapy. I will be down for the count for a little bit, and I don't know the next time after the surgery that I will be doing a lot of Pilates core work, but supposedly I'll be back to aiming, whatever that means, in a relatively short period of time. We're going to say relatively short. I will be in the hospital for probably five or so days out in Miami, and then home for a bit of time. And yes, Rick is going to be with me in Miami, and the doggies will be boarded, so they'll be taken care of. And everybody here at Beyond Motion will be taking care of all of you. But the one thing I have to say is that as I've started to share a little bit of what's going on, the unbelievable support and yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say other than support from all of you. It's just been amazing. As you can imagine, this has been quite a shock. The information is quite new. It's really hard to think that, you know, I've known about this disease for 30 years, but never really thought about it too much. I've never had any symptomology ever. I am an anomaly again with another issue because I am 52 years old, and there are very, if any, cases that we have seen in the United States of people being diagnosed at my age with this level of cancer in the body. And so all of this is kind of a shock. Usually people are diagnosed in their teens or early 20s, and so this is quite unusual. But I have the most amazing team over at the University of Miami. Yes, I've spoken to other doctors, and they have all said, stay in Miami, you have an awesome team over there. So while I'm a bit nervous to undergo yet another surgery, and this is the very first one where I'll be staying in a hospital for any period of time, or a hospital outside of outpatient orthopedic stuff, we have a great game plan. We have an unbelievable team. I have this awesome village of people that are supporting everything that I possibly need. And I'm so eternally grateful for each and every one of you that have reached out already. And like I said, this has been a conversation I have had because I need it to be out there and authentic and not be afraid of having this conversation with people. But at the same time, it's unbelievably personal as well, as you can imagine. So I will do my best to share my story as I go along with this, because each person going through this disease and the treatments for it is very unique, just like any other kind of disease. And just because my father had it doesn't mean we share the same variant or we'll have all of the same kind of symptomology. And I'm so grateful that it's now, grateful is not the right word, but grateful that it's now versus years ago, because even the one drug that's available has only been available since 2021. I'm not currently a candidate for that particular drug, but the information and research and things that are available now at 2024, 2025 is new information. And so had I been diagnosed 10, 15 years ago, we don't think my results would be nearly as good as they're going to be now. So like I said, I've been told for this particular scenario and everything I have going on right now that I'll be back to Amy in no time. No one's given me an actual timeline on that though, so give me a little grace. I got to figure this one out. But I am looking forward to the next 30 days because I have to go back to eating well, because Lord knows if it's been available and it's sweet and it's been carrot cake or pumpkin bread, I've been eating it. It's a good thing I'm not a big drinker, because that would have been awful. But I am using the next 30 days as kind of game time to get myself as healthy and as fit as humanly possible, so that when I walk into this procedure, I am way ahead of the game. So I just wanted to share what was going on. I know this is what you were not expecting, me either, from a New Year's video, but one of the things I hope you learn from this is that to take care of yourself. You know, we're walking into a new year and so many of us are so big into the goals and resolutions, but the fact of the matter is it's not what we do once, it's what we do all the time and every day. And as you know, I am a walking billboard for what we teach and how we live. And I don't say one thing and do something else. So if I'm taking this good care of myself and my gene pool can still pull this trick on me, make sure you're taking care of yourself. It's so important that you eat well, you exercise, you sleep, you do stress reduction, you take your supplements, you use personal care products that aren't contributing to hormone imbalances and negative effects in your body. Take care of yourself, because at some point somebody else may have to take care of you if you don't do it well. So it's a new year, it's a new opportunity for each one of us to live our healthiest, best life. And I just hope and hope that my experiences will help somebody else either live their healthiest life, or find resources if they think something's going on in their body, or talk to your doctor, or share information with people that you think you need it. But it's going to be a good year. I know it is. We're all going to make it through this, me included. And again, I will try and share as much as I can along the way, and hopefully without crying all the way through. So Happy New Year, everybody. And thank you again for all of your love and support. It really means more than you possibly know. Peace.